Welcome, everyone. It's Brian Kenny. Welcome back to MLB Now, special edition. We are pleased to be joined by a man we spent actually a lot of time on this show talking about in his Hall of Fame candidacy, pushing him and trying to get him recognized by the writers. Last year, he finally became Hall of Famer Edgar Martínez, and he joins us now. Edgar, it's Brian Kenny. Thanks for joining us. Edgar, let's start with, we'll talk a little Hall of Fame, but first, better news emerging in the negotiations. What's your view from your vantage point about the way things have unfolded?
Yeah, I'm more encouraged after I heard today that potentially they're going to regain the negotiations. I think it's, baseball, people are looking forward to baseball, especially with what's going on in the country. Baseball always been a game that kind of unite people. And plus it's summer, and it's the summer game, and people just need baseball right now.
Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking the other day, I mean, we've been through, strike and stoppages way back when, but from the start of this season all the way now to June, I think a lot of people feel like they missed that rhythm of baseball. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you've been playing baseball your whole life. What is it like being this far into the summer and no baseball?
Yes, the summer kids. Everybody know that phrase, and it's different. Not watching baseball, the great players of today's game, and it's completely different. It feels like we're missing something. So I hope that negotiations go well and we start baseball again.
And it seems, Edgar, that part of the proposal is, and I like the strategy of baseball with the pitcher hitting. I understand in these circumstances that with guys having a spring training, then they shut down, then they come back, probably does make sense to have universal DH, but it seems like that's coming through. You're a biased party as one of the all-time great DHs, of course, but what are your thoughts on DH in both leagues, which it seems like this is going to be the start of that?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I have my biases, because I was a DH for a long time. But I think that fans like to watch offense, and eventually, I mean, it's always the traditional fan that likes to see the pitcher hit, because it's more bunt, it's more strategies to the National League game. But I think also, the fans, it's going to be a lot of fans who like to see the offense and see a DH in both leagues.
Edgar, you were inducted into the Hall of Fame last summer in Cooperstown. We were just talking before we came on. When you come back the next year after induction, is usually so relaxing in comparison. That it was postponed this year is disappointing. But you were going, right? Were you coming this year?
Yeah, I was planning to go. My wife and I, we were making plans before the pandemic, and we're looking forward to be there in the summer. Even it was very busy for me last year, and but we enjoyed it, and we were looking forward to it.
Yeah, you could have rolled this year. I mean, you will next year, right? Because how much pressure do you feel? Even though it's all good, they're just honoring you. But what is it like to have to go through, not have to, but to be able to go through that process?
The process starts like months before. You're already thinking about it, how it's going to be. You have all these expectations, and you have this nervousness. You feel nervous about it. But it is a process that starts very early. When you get there, it's 3 days that are nonstop. You're always doing things, and at the same time, you're thinking about that speech and how it's going to be. And even you feel nervous, but when it's done, it's a great feeling about it. You just feel great that you went through it, um, and you're able to relax.
Well, you'll be able to experience it next year then, and relax, go there with your wife. You'll enjoy it for years and years. Do you want to ask Edgar about MLB Network is running a program on Junior Griffey. It's called Junior, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Ken Griffey Jr. You guys were the heart of that lineup, a fearsome lineup for the Seattle Mariners. What was it like playing with Ken Griffey Jr.? And you saw him, as a young kid when he was at his peak. What was that like?
It was great. It was an honor to be, teammate of Junior. One of the best players, the best player I ever saw on the field. And from the beginning, you could see he had the 5-tool player. He could do anything on the field from the beginning, very beginning. And you could tell that he was going to have like a long, great career. And very quickly, he became one of the best players in the game. It was just amazing to watch. It's almost like, you look at Junior and you said, okay, he has 5 tools. He has all the tools. But he also had the 6th one that it was the instinct on the field. And, very few players have that.
Did you guys ever talk hitting? I mean, you look very different as hitters, but did you guys ever discuss hitting?
Not as much. Junior's mechanic was very simple, and he had in his mind his approach, everything. And we didn't get into deep conversations that much about hitting. But with Junior, you didn't need to talk too much about hitting. He was make the game simple in his mind, and I think that's the way he thought of the game. Make it simple.
And for you, it was very different. You're saying for you, it was much more analytical.
I was more mechanical, working more on my mechanics. I wanted to perfect my mechanics as much as I could. To just and have an approach at the plate, have a plan, all these things that helped me. I just needed to do more and work more on my my skills.
All right. Well, people can see much more of the Mariners in the heyday against Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Edgar, I know you'd like to get back to work too. You're hitting advisor for the Mariners. Hopefully, you're needed, and we're all needed. And baseball gets back out there very soon. And if I don't see you then, we'll see each other in Cooperstown, not this year, but next year. Always a pleasure, Edgar. Thank you so much for joining us.